Good morning. It's Wednesday, the 15th of February, and it's Esther here with you today. It can't have passed by anyone's notice, or maybe it has, that it was Valentine's Day yesterday. You may have sent or received a Valentine. The shops have been full of Valentine gifts and cards. Red roses, typically a gift given to sweethearts, and gifts typically with hearts involved. I had a dilemma. I wonder how many of you know the legend behind St. Valentine's Day. If I ever knew, I've forgotten. So my dilemma was, do I start with a really sad story or the follow-up story on Valentine and today's take on it? So I've chosen the former. Depending on which account you believe, some say there were between 12 and 14 St. Valentines, including a Spanish hermit and a woman, Valentina. As far as anyone can tell, the Saint Valentine of Valentine's Day was one of two men preaching Christianity in Rome in the 3rd century. One of them was martyred on February the 14th, 269 AD, thus giving us the date for his eponymous day. According to a Father O'Grady, who was a priest of Whitefriars Street Church in Dublin, who died in 1998, he tells what he believes is the real story behind the man called Saint Valentine. Saint Valentine was a Roman priest at the time when there was an emperor, Claudius II, who persecuted the Christian church for their beliefs. Claudius created an edict that prohibited the marriage of young people in Roman rule at that time. This was based on the hypothesis that unmarried soldiers fought better than married soldiers because married soldiers might be afraid of what might happen to their wives and families if they died. I think we must bear in mind that it was a very permissive society which Valentine lived in, and polygamy would have been much more popular than just one man and one woman living together. And yet some were attracted to the Christian faith. But obviously the church thought that marriage was very sacred between one man and one woman for their life, and that was to be encouraged. So it immediately presented the problem to the Christian church of what to do about this. The idea of encouraging them to marry within the Christian church was what Valentine was about, and he had to secretly marry them because of the emperor's edict. Valentine was eventually caught, imprisoned, and tortured for performing marriage ceremonies against the command of Emperor Claudius II. There are legends surrounding Valentine's actions while in prison. One of the men who was to judge him, in line with the Roman law at that time, was a man called Asterius, whose daughter was blind. Valentine was supposed to have prayed with and healed the young girl with astonishing effect that Asterius himself became a Christian as a result. In the year 269 AD, Valentine was sentenced to a 3-part execution, which included a beating, stoning, and finally decapitation, all because of his stand for Christian marriage. The story goes that the last words he wrote were in a note to Asterius' daughter. His note inspired today's romantic notes and letters to each other by him signing it, "From your Valentine," an expression that is still in use today. Although the truth behind the Valentine legend is unclear, the stories all emphasise his appeal as a sympathetic, heroic, and most importantly, romantic figure. Fast forward a few years and we find the origins of the poem, "The rose is red, the violet's blue, the honey's sweet, and so are you," written by Gammer Gurton Garland. But the origins can be traced as far back as 1590 to Sir Edmund Spence. Quite possibly, people have been sending valentines to their loved ones for over 500 years, but perhaps with no direct connection to Valentine. So, why red roses and violets on Valentine's Day? Well, red roses are flowers that represent love universally, and violet is the colour of faithfulness and simplicity. But did you know that the days before the 14th of February also have specific names? February the 7th is Rose Day, the 8th is Propose Day, the 9th is Chocolate Day, and the 10th is Teddy Day, the 11th is Promise Day, the 12th is Hug Day, the 13th is Kiss Day, and February the 14th is Valentine's Day. So here are one or two modern takes on the Roses Are Red poem. Roses are red, violets are blue, my heart is full of love for you. Violets are blue and roses are red. We have our own style, so stick with me, kid. But do people take Valentine's Day seriously today? Well, lots of industries benefit from modern Valentine's Day, namely the stationery, chocolate, flowers and jewellery businesses. But according to a well-known chef, it takes 10 litres of water to grow one red rose. Romance isn't dead, but is it good for the planet? Red roses being transported from abroad rack up thousands of air miles, and we should choose from homegrown flowers, like daffodils. But would this have the same effect as a single red rose? Do you remember some of these acronyms, some from after the war? SWOC, sealed with a loving kiss. Holland was Hope Our Love Lasts and Never Dies. Italy, I Trust and Love You. France, Friendship Remains and Never Can End. And lastly, Belfast, Be Ever Loving, Faithful and Stay True. So I'm going to finish this morning by reading one of my favourite passages from the Bible, and it's found in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it does not dishonour others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. Have a good week, everyone, and be kind to each other. Bye.